Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How are you? We're going to see if Instagram is going to work today. I got a notification when I tried to add it today that there's a problem with Instagram and StreamYard, which is the platform that we use to stream. So who knows if it's going to work or not today? Guys, we never know. We just roll with the punches, right? But I do have a very special guest today. So we're going to bring her in and we're going to start chatting because there's so much to chat about today. Why wait? She's just more fun to have around. So here we go. We have Ashlea of Hard Hook Home today joining us.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm drowning in socks over here, but pretty good otherwise.
If you don't know what Ashlea's talking about, we're going to talk about it here in just a minute, and you'll understand why there is a sea of socks all around her.
Yes.
But yeah, is this the first time we're seeing you in your new studio? I can't remember. No, you were on when we did the Alpine collection.
That's right. That's
you were
right.
in your studio.
Yes.
I was like, no.
It's a different wall. It's a different area of it because there is so much right here. Like, we're just not going to show that today. We're not going to show that.
I get it.
Yes.
Again, why we only see this section of my room, you know?
Exactly.
If they're multi-purpose rooms, this is just what happens. And, you know, it's more important to get to chat with people than to try to make the whole thing look presentable. So here we are.
Yep. And it's real. So here we are.
Yeah. Before we jump in and start talking all about socks and what Ashlea has cooked up for us and for all of you, I do want to call out real quick that we have a really great sale going on. As you all know, we have the summer yarn sale that's been going on, but today and today only, maybe again in the future, who knows? We have a 50% off 50 items that you can shop right now and grab. There's a lot of amazing things on there. You can get things like our really cool viewfinder, which allows you to put this over your stitches and it magnifies it so you can get a better look at your gauge. It also has your needle or hook gauge as well. The folio is also 50% off. I don't know, Ashlea, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
This one?
The pattern folio, that you can keep all of your stuff in. Oh my God.
I love this. I love this.
And I got a lemonwood minder. It fits in the back pocket when you have it all collapsed.
Nice.
So now I have like a little yarn minder that stays in my folio that I can take. It's got my, my ruler, my tape measure, my hook, my pencil, like it's got everything. I put a cute little notebook in here. It keeps my patterns. I love this thing. I think it's great. It's now 50% off. So go grab it. Grab one of these to throw in. There's bags in there. There's hooks. There's so much stuff, 50 items, that you can go and have a lot of fun shopping and get them at 50% off and save a ton. Oh,
and the Tunisian hook sets.
Yes. There's a Tunisian hook set that you can grab, because Ashlea loves Tunisian. And there's a Tunisian project in this is what we're going to talk about. So if you don't have a hook set, go ahead and grab it now. I'm going to try one more time. Let's see if Instagram will let us go live. No. So apparently there's a problem. We're just going to let it go. Dawn says she has the folio and it's beautiful. I love it. I mean, I know I'm biased. It was my baby. I helped create that and put everything together. So yes, I love it probably even more than most people, but it really is a great tool. And I think everybody should have it. Yeah. So, okay. So that's going on. So go check that out. Check out the rest of the summer yarn sale. But we're here to talk about what Ashlea's been cooking up here the past couple of, months, I guess.
Months
going on.
It's been months.
Yeah. So you've all heard of Shark Week. Well, now we have Sock Week, and Ashlea is bringing it to us, and she did not spare anything in these sock patterns. They're amazing. And I think let's start off with the fact of just talking about socks in general. Because when you hear about socks, you typically go to knitting or you think about knitting, and people shy away from crochet socks because yes, there is a little bit more texture to it. So what are the tips and tricks that the things that you thought about when putting these patterns together to make these comfortable socks?
Well, it actually came about because back in November, like we're talking, gosh, that's way too long ago. I was working up my dog poncho pattern for my dog series last year, and I needed to like just stretch it out and just to see how big it was. So I put it over the end of my foot, and I pulled it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a sock. And so I got to make a sock, right? So I came up with a construction for that. It's just a different way of doing the heels so that we don't have to work with short rows. I think that's part of why people shy away from crocheted socks, is because they can be a little bit intimidating. And I know when I have a herringbone sock pattern that also uses the Felici yarn that I'm working with today. That's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my most popular patterns ever. And for that pattern, I recommend keeping stitch markers at every single row end of the heel, just so that you can find those stitches where you're supposed to be slip stitching and all that. But that can be a little bit intimidating though. Even when you've got all those stitch markers, then you can be overwhelmed by the stitch markers. So I wanted to come up with a different construction for socks that used one stitch marker, right? And all we're doing for the heel is a raglan point. We're just increasing on both sides of the foot all the way until it gets to where you have the circumference needed for the leg, and then you pinch off, you do a few decreases around the back of the heel to kind of tidy things up a little bit. So there's no short rows, which is awesome, right? And I wanted to incorporate some very easy stitches. So on Monday, the first pattern that we published on Monday was this one. This is the single crochet sock. So this one's a little ankle sock, but we start at the toe. This is only single crochets. And I wanted to do this one first so that we could get a feel for the increases here and how we're placing those and stitch placements and everything else. And then how we do the heel, how we sew that up in the back to make it nice and rounded and pretty. And then Tuesdays, we got into a little bit more of a complicated, it's not really even complicated. It's just a single crochet variation with a spike stitch. And I love how sleek and streamlined those look. Look at that toe. Isn't that pretty? I love it. And this tweed was absolutely perfect for it. I'm actually working up a toe for the other leg. And this is the stroll tweed. I love this yarn. I love this yarn. It came yesterday and I ripped the box open and I was just going through all the yarns. So I was like, yes, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be perfect. So yeah. So today, today's pattern is a yoga sock. And so I'm actually right in the middle of doing the video tutorial for that. So I'll show you this one. I'm getting ready to do the heel on this one. Isn't that pretty?
I love that color.
So that, I know, absolutely beautiful. So one ball per leg, which is awesome. You can just go until you run out of yarn or until it's tall enough and call it good and walk away, right? So this one's the Visions yarn. This one, is this bamboo cotton blend? I can't remember what's all in this. But I know that it does not have a lot of stretch to it, and I bought it purposefully for these yoga socks, and they're beautiful and they're a little bit heavy, but they do not stretch much at all. So that's why I'm recommending the Felici instead. But isn't that beautiful though? Absolutely.
So it's a 50% cotton, 50% viscous. So
that's what I was thinking.
No stretch.
No stretch at all, but they're beautiful to look at. So I did make my legs just a little bit bigger on this one so that I could stretch it over my ankles, But yeah, so Thursdays, tomorrow's pattern is the alpine stitch. So that's the one that I was working on in November when I came up with this construction idea. And here is this one. This one is the Stroll Effects yarn this is the Koi Pond colorway. And if that doesn't look like a koi pond, I don't know what, especially with the alpine stitch. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. You can see the increases on this one too. Maybe with the yarn color changes.
You don't see it.
Not as much, no. So this one's Thursday, and then Friday we are using Chroma Worsted, which I just worked up one on my walk this morning so that I can take pictures and everything. But Friday is the folded slippers.
I love it.
This is just a rectangle that we just fold and seam. And then on Saturday, we're doing a bonus pattern. Let me find that one. It is a Tunisian in the round sock. And I don't know that I've ever seen a Tunisian sock pattern worked this way. Especially worked this way, but we are doing the same kind of increasing here. So we've got that pretty little increase there. The way that Tunisian works, I just love it. And getting to incorporate both regular crochet and then Tunisian and then back to regular. And yeah, I love it. So I hope everybody loves it.
You know, I have to say too, this is not the first time you've done it, and you love to do this, and I appreciate it so much. When you put together a collection like this, you are so thoughtful in starting simple. And I don't mean, like simple, like it's not great or whatever else, but you
Yeah.
start with just the basics. You
Yes.
allow us to understand the construction, to understand the technique of
Yes.
what we're going to do. And then each other pattern that comes out kind of builds off of that. So,
Yes.
yes, if you're an advanced crocheter or you've done socks before, sure, go ahead, jump into one of the other socks. You don't need to start maybe at something where you're just learning the technique and all you care about is your single crochet, which but if you've never done it before, it really is a building block to get you into all of these different techniques. And I love it. Like you've done it
Yes.
with every collection I've known you to have so far.
Thank you.
And I just really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely meaningful. That was meant, that was intended. So I'm glad
It's
you
great.
appreciate it.
And so we should talk about it too. So it's been going on this whole week. So yes, we are at Wednesday, but that doesn't mean you've missed out. The patterns are still available over. Oh, yeah, here we are sitting here talking about this, and I didn't even put the link in yet.
Oh,
So
did it now.
here's the link. It's coming right now that you can go ahead and check it out, which gets updated with the different patterns that come out. But you don't have to like rush to do one sock every day. These are going to be available. Now, I can't remember, so you're going to have to tell me, can you buy these as a collection together, or is it just on the blog?
Yes. So right now, the entire collection with all 6 patterns, including all the way up through Saturday, that pattern collection is available as I think it's 46 pages, but all 6 patterns together. So that is available on Etsy, and there's a coupon code on Etsy, Sock Week, or if it's on the blog shop as well, and it's just on sale there for 50% off. So there's no code or anything needed on the blog shop. And then every day, as I'm publishing the new patterns, I'm releasing the individual PDFs. So if you only want that one sock, that's perfectly fine. You could grab that one by itself. And then I am posting a video tutorial to go along with each day as well. So I'm kind of playing catch up. I published yesterday's this morning, and then I'm publishing, I'm working on the leg of the moss. So hopefully that yoga one will be done today, and then I'll get kind of a jump start on tomorrow's.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. And Ashley's working on videos, which we sent her the yarn to do the videos, and FedEx delayed it and
They
delayed
did.
it and delayed it. And yesterday she was like telling me, I'm sitting here waiting for the box. It was supposed to be there like over the weekend, but then with the holiday, I think it got pushed to Monday. And
Yeah.
then Tuesday, it was like, it's coming, it's coming. Where is it?
Yeah.
She didn't tell me until like 5 o'clock that it
Yeah.
arrived. I
It
was
was
like, you got to be
4:45.
kidding me.
And I heard that. I heard the truck, coming down the road.
Yeah.
I was like running out there. Like,
Oh
just
my
throw it
gosh.
to me. I
So
got it. Put
you're
me in.
getting videos. They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you have all of that information. You've got the great packed patterns with all the details that you're going to need and photos. I know I've tested a bunch of Ashley's patterns. She always has great photos in her patterns
Thank
to
you.
really clarify where you are. And if that doesn't work for you, she's got the videos too, so that
Yeah.
you can actually see where she's putting her hook. But I find her photo tutorials to be really great and always able to figure things out. So
Thank you.
whatever you want to do. But yeah, you have all of these resources. So it really is a learning tool while making all of these different sock patterns. And I love that it's now because who said it? Dawn said it. I like making smaller things in the summer. And I agree with that.
Exactly.
You don't
Yeah.
have something big on your lap. It's easy to be portable and take with you.
Yes.
You can take one ball of yarn with you instead of trying to pack up a sweater's quantity
Yes.
to go somewhere. So these are really great to be working on now. And they're going to make really great gifts. So
Yeah.
let's talk about sizing a little bit, and
Okay.
how well do they have to know either their own foot size or somebody else's foot size, or what are they kind of measuring to figure out the sizes of these patterns?
So there are for the actual sock patterns. So for Monday's single crochet sock, and Tuesday's spike sock, and Thursday's alpine sock, and the Tunisian, actually, this Tunisian one as well. So for all 4 of the traditional looking sock patterns, there are 5 sizes included. So I think the smallest one is the women's 5'6", and then the largest one I think is a men's 12 or 14. I'm not sure, but it's a
Wow.
men's, decent size men's shoe, and we can alter that if needed. In my research for sock week, I learned that the difference between a men's, I think it was 12 and 14, or anything larger than a 13 maybe, really there's not much difference in the circumference of the foot. It's mostly the length of the foot. So if you
Okay.
need to, you can add rows before starting the heel if you need it to be a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
So there are 5 sizes included. That being said, I do have, because these are sock patterns and there's something that you're going to wear that's going to stretch out just a little bit, and you want it to, as a sock,
Right.
you don't want it to be non-stretchable.
Yeah.
But I did make the patterns with a negative ease, meaning that they are slightly smaller than the actual size of your foot so that they have to stretch a little bit. So if
Yeah.
you are kind of in the middle, like one of my testers, Nicole, she's she's a rock star. I think she tested 3 of these sock patterns while she was testing something else for me. And now she started something else. I'm like, you go, girl. No,
Nice.
she's made all the socks. But she was telling me, I think she was a women's 9. There was something, I can't remember, but she ended up making the next size up, and she says she felt more comfortable with that. So
Mhm.
what you could do, and what I recommend with the gauge with these patterns, since it's so small and you're working up the toe anyway, I would just start with the hook size that's recommended in the pattern, which is, most of them are the 4mm. Work up that toe, and then work up the first maybe inch or 2 inches of the
Yeah.
actual foot, and then measure it. That way,
Mhm.
because there's no point in doing a gauge swatch in the round when you're just going to crochet the toe in the round too,
Yeah.
So save yourself the trouble. But if you get to that point and it's feeling just a little bit too snug, then just rip out back just to that toe portion. All of the toes start the same. So
Okay.
even if you're making the smallest size or the largest size, all of the toes start the same. So you don't have to frog the whole
That's
thing. Just
awesome.
go back to wherever you need to add that additional increase row, and then just
Right.
continue on with the next size up.
I love that. I was gonna say too, I know like when my kids were little and we'd go like shoe shopping and I'd see like these videos or these tutorials, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, where they would like draw the foot on a piece of paper and then like
Yeah.
take it with them to the store. And I still think that's a great idea, especially if you're making for somebody else. You can draw the foot. But remember, if that is the route you're taking and people are not trying it on, the sock should like fit inside of the line that you're drawing because you want it to be tighter. Trust me, I found that out the hard way when I made my first sock and did not understand like negative and positive ease. And I just started working. I made them for my husband and I just started working and I thought like, oh, this will work. I didn't plan any negative ease into it when I picked what size to give him. So they're like ginormous. I don't think he's ever worn them,
You
maybe
can hang
once.
them on the mantle for
Um,
Christmas.
I really, really should. But
Oh, so
yeah,
I'm stocking.
you forget about it that socks, like a regular sock, has so much stretch to it when you put it on your foot
Yeah.
because you want it to be a little bit tighter. Now, again, if you have a different preference, you make what you like, but a traditional sock is meant to be tighter and then stretch over your foot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
love
one
it.
thing too that I like about this technique, and I've talked about it in the first 2 videos that the video tutorials that I've published on YouTube that go along with these,
Mhm.
is that if your ankle is a little bit smaller or a little bit larger, this method of making socks, you can very easily adjust that when you go to make that ankle row. You can either do a couple of decreases right there, or you can do a couple of chains there to make a little bit more room for your ankle.
Right.
So it's pretty customizable that way too.
I love that. I do want to talk about the other slippers, socks that you have. The one that's the star stitch. I don't know what you called them.
Yes.
Those are coming Friday. No, Friday. Are they coming
Yes.
Friday?
Friday,
Okay.
because I have an annual series and we're doing the donation series in 2025. So they are slipper socks that are intended to be something very quick that you can make and donate a bunch to for the hospital if you want to.
I love it. And yes, again, the construction is very different. And, I've seen people make similar things to this before. And I've heard people come and say that these are great for making for your home to keep for when people come to visit you. And then
Yes.
they can like borrow a pair if their feet are cold, or they make really great gifts, especially for like a teacher or, a coworker that you might not know their exact foot size, but you
Yeah.
can kind of like guess. And I love the stitch pattern that you used for these. I think it's
Uh,
amazing. It
Thank
just looks
you.
so beautiful.
So
So
it's
if
this
we can,
one.
let's talk about those for a minute.
This is the star stitch. This is the folded slipper. We've got 2 different ones, obviously. I actually worked one up on my walk this morning, and I'm not going to be publishing, obviously, until Friday. But this is the one that I worked up this morning on my walk. using this colorway. It's the puffer jacket colorway, which is divine. I
Yeah.
absolutely love those are my colors, you know.
Yeah.
You throw in a dark pink and I would just be like drooling over here over this yarn. But this is the one that I worked up this morning, and we are constructing this in a way. I love the way that the color transitions. Isn't that
Yes.
beautiful? But we're constructing this in a way so that the toe side is naturally kind of cinched in a little bit, because what I learned when I was designing this particular pattern, I made one using the linked double crochet, alternating with single crochet rows. And I made one with the double moss stitch. I made one with just double crochet. I made like a ton of different rectangles. And I wasn't happy with any of them, partly because the way that we have to sew the toe, it's a rule of thirds basically. So you take it and fold it in thirds, and then you cinch up this part and sew this side down, which there will be a video as well. But cinching that up when the stitches, since I've made these a little bit smaller, it just makes that toe look so much cleaner than trying to cram all of those wide stitches into that same toe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about the way that this one is working out. I cannot wait. I was going to get very good pictures of this, because sewing or describing this, how to sew this toe, just in text is not the easiest. So definitely going to be adding some good photos of this before, and then of course the video tutorial on Friday.
I love it. And I think it's great too, because I know I'm always looking for throughout the winter, like I'll wear socks, but sometimes you just need a little something extra, like you need another layer. And so I really love those as an idea just to kind of have laying around my house. So whatever room I'm in, if my feet get cold, I can just throw them on and go.
Yeah. And it turns out I weighed this when I got home. I should have enough to make the second slipper from the same ball. I should, which is
That would
awesome.
be awesome. Yeah.
Because I think these they're not huge skeins, are they? They're 198 yards. So I guess that's a decent size. But that's pretty amazing to get 2 out of 1 ball.
Yeah. Is that using the worsted weight or the fingering weight?
This is worsted. Yeah.
Worsted. Okay.
Yep. And it's only for my size. I think I only needed 23 rows.
Wow.
And I wear a 9, like an 8.5, 9.
Yeah. So that's not like small feet, like it's not big feet, but it's not like a,
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But I love that, because you can just grab the one ball and you can go ahead and you can make it. And there's so many great colors in Chroma. I'm thinking I've got a couple like single skeins. I got to go find them, and we're going to start working and making these. They're going to be great.
Yes.
I love them. So can you remind us again, what is the pattern for today that is getting released or did get released?
The one that I am working on right this very minute is the yoga socks.
Yes, the yoga socks. And just a reminder, they're not going to look exactly like that, because that was a different yarn. She's switching it to a different yarn, but they're still absolutely gorgeous.
Well, let me show you this, because I almost like this yarn better.
Okay.
So this is the Felici, right?
Yep.
And this is the Sebastian colorway, which I love those colors. These are kind of my colors too. But look at the way I'm using the double moss stitch for this. And look at the way, oops, hold on, come back. Look at the way that those colors kind of dip down into the row below it. Isn't that pretty? It almost looks kind of Aztec-y, doesn't it? I love it. Absolutely love it. So right now I'm to the point where I am getting ready to do the chain to start the heel. So I'm getting ready to do that on video as soon as we're finished.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love it in the Visions yarn, but you're right. It looks so much better with the Felici yarn, because you can see like the color changes faster. So you can see more of that dip and spike into the next color, which
I do like the transition effect of this. And this yarn does work for it. Just be mindful that it's not going to have as much give as a traditional sock yarn would.
Right. Right. And that just means too, like as you wear it, it will start to stretch out, and it's not going to have that bounce back, because it doesn't have any of the nylon in it. It doesn't have any of that additional parts of the yarn that give it that little stretch to go back to where it was. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why people talk about sock yarn, is because it has the stretch in it. That's like the biggest reason you want to use a sock yarn for socks. But again, it's not like it's only available in fingering weight sock yarn. You can get that stretch with other yarns as well. So just look for what you need in a yarn, or
Yeah.
or all of the ones that Ashley suggested are all really great to go ahead and make your socks. So
Right.
I am super excited about this. I'm so like, this has been a fun week watching the new patterns come out. As a reminder, you can go ahead and get them from the link that we put in there. If you are watching and don't see the comments for some reason, you can search for Heart Hook Home. And on the homepage, it has a post about Sock Week. So you can go ahead and click there. You'll also see the post for each of the individual patterns. So you can get them for free on the blog if you want to. You can purchase them as a big collection. Ashley said 64 pages of tutorials
Yeah.
and videos and patterns and everything you need. Or you'll be able to buy them as individual patterns if there's just one or two that you like and you don't want to get the full collection. It's okay. You can get them individually as well. And don't forget, she said that there is a coupon code. Can you remind us what it is over on Etsy?
Yes. If you buy the collection on the Heart Hook Home blog shop, then it's just on sale for 50%
Perfect.
off. On Etsy, it's on sale right now, 25% off. But if you use Sock Week, then it takes 50% off.
And how long are those deals going on?
Through this Saturday. So Saturday is the last day that I'm publishing the Tunisian sock pattern. And so that coupon code goes through Saturday.
All right. So
I might
grab
bump
it
it
now.
out maybe
Yeah.
through the weekend.
Now is the time to grab it though. Like, even if you can't start, grab the pattern, get that 50% discount. And don't forget to shop that summer yarn sale because there's a lot of discounts on certain colors, on certain yarn lines. You can stock up. You can make socks for everybody in your family for this fall and winter, and everybody's going to be so happy that their feet are going to be cozy and warm.
Yep. Yep. And I think people feel really special when you make something like that for them. Instead of obviously anything handmade is going to be loved and you feel cherished and things. But I think socks, it's so intentional and it's so personal to
Yeah.
each person. And you get to pick the yarn color and you get to pick the stitch and you get to pick, it's just a much more personal. I think I like it.
Yeah, but it's not as big as like making a blanket or making a sweater or making something like that. Like, it's more manageable to be able to make it for a holiday, for a birthday. I mean, we're talking about the holidays because, you wear more socks and warmer things towards that time of the year. But that doesn't mean you couldn't make it for somebody's birthday throughout the rest of the year, or something like that, or just put it in with a little gift basket. Like, these are really great things to just kind of make and have on hand that you can also just gift out as you need it. So we love it. It doesn't look like there's any other questions. I mean, there's people talking about how they love making socks. They love making small projects. They love being able to travel with it. You can see the results quickly. So people are loving the idea of socks, but I don't think there's any other questions. We must have covered all the bases.
Okay.
I hope everybody jumps in. I can't wait to see the socks. Don't forget, if you are making the socks, to tag Ashley, tag us. Let us see what you're making and what you're working on, because it inspires all of us. And really, I mean, that's where I come up with a lot of like what colors I want to use and things like that, because I would not have thought that that's how that yarn would work out for the yoga socks. And I'm so glad you did it so we could actually see what that striping looks like. It's gorgeous. And yeah, just get making socks, guys. Everybody make socks.
Exactly. So you get a sock and you get a sock and you get a sock.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all about Sock Week. We're so excited about it, and I hope everybody else is. Thank you to everybody for joining us, and hopefully next week we'll be able to get Instagram to work, but probably not, because it's been a pain for a couple weeks now, and they just need to fix it.
That's right. Get it together.
I know. I don't know how to do this stuff. I want to push the button and make it go live.
Yep. Let's do it. Well, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks so much. And hopefully everybody gets some stitching in this week, and we'll see you next week. See you, everybody.